This is Monterey's Cookin' with Chef John Pisto and host Mike Goodenough. This tape features 4 recipes as seen on the Monterey Show. We hope you enjoy, and we wish you good cooking. Welcome to Monterey's Cooking. This is John Pisto, an excellent chef here on the Monterey Peninsula. Has been around for more years than he likes to admit. Today, John is going to show us how we can prepare crab at home. We've all had great crab at restaurants, and I know if you're like me, you thought about, gee, I'd like to be able to prepare this at home. Well, John's going to show us how to do that today. So, John, let's get going.
I'm going to show you some restaurant secrets. A lot of restaurant secrets are really common sense. And with cooking, the real true thing is freshness. And when I buy crab, I only buy them one way, and I buy them alive. And we're lucky that we have fish markets here locally that carry live crab. So when you go to buy crab, and I hope this guy doesn't bite me, and you be very careful, these are not toys, because these can really get you. And if you have small kids around the house, keep them away from them because they think they can play with them and they can't. This will draw blood. Now, I'm not trying to tell you they're really dangerous now, but they are dangerous, but to a point. You understand. First thing you should do is pick out the very lively ones. Don't get the ones that are half dead. Ask him and be a real stickler for being real fresh ones that are alive. Also, get ones that are on the large size. These are probably 2.5 to 3 pounds. Don't get anything smaller than that because then your meat ratio isn't very good. Now, next you get a large pot of water. Get it boiling real good. And you put 3 handfuls of salt. I've already done that. Now, you're going to say that's a lot of salt. Now, the ideal way to cook these would be to put them in salt water from the ocean. Well, we haven't got that at our disposal. But roughly 3 handfuls of salt in a pot this size. Get it boiling real good. And once it's boiling, keep it going. And I hope I don't get the Humane Society after me for this, folks. But if we're going to eat these, we've got to cook them. And in they go. Now these are going to cook. You bring them back to a boil. And this is rule of thumb, never go wrong. Bring it back to a boil, cook them for 15 minutes. After it's back to a boil, and the crabs will be cooked. After that, you put them in your sink, you let them cool off. Do not rinse them in cold water. You're going to rinse all that salt and all that flavor off. I've taken the liberty of cooking some ahead of time so that I can show you some of the things. If you go to a fish market and you do buy them that are cooked already, some of the things you should look for. First of all, never buy a crab that's wrapped in plastic. I'm sorry, but you're not going to get a good crab, Mike.
Okay.
You're going to get, who knows when that crab was packed. Ideal way to check a crab is like this. You grab it here, and you put your nose right in here, and you sniff.
So what you did, you actually just pull the body a little bit away from the...
careful you don't drip all over the place here.
Okay. I drip a lot. Okay.
So. And put your nose, and what do you smell?
It's real sweet.
You smell sweet, you smell the ocean, it smells good. The nose knows. In cooking, that's very important. The nose will tell you if something's bad, and it'll tell you if something's good. Now, we know these are all good, right?
How do you get a crab out of the shell? That seems to be a real problem.
We've got the crab here, right? Real easy. Pull, separate the shell from the body. Now, these things here are called the lungs. We don't want to eat those, so we pull those off. And on this side too. Okay, this is the mouth. We just give that a nice little twist. Pull this other stuff off.
John, when you say lungs, that's these weird-looking things?
I think they also call these fingers. Now, I'm going to show you something. Now, you see this part right here? Now, you just grab. Now, this is what all the cooks do in the restaurants. When we have to clean crab, we end up eating this, folks. We give the customers this. I'd rather have this part. Now, you may say, "Oh, that's got to be gross," but I'll tell you. That is the finest part of the crab. This is called the crab butter. You can make pastas with this. Usually we don't keep it around long enough because we end up eating it. I want you to taste this, Mike.
Okay.
And we're not going to put anything on it. You can see all that beautiful butter in there. This is the fat. Just take a bite of that.
Take this right here?
Yeah, just take that whole thing and eat it. Now, what's that taste like? Now, is that something?
That's the best flavor I've ever had.
That's the most condensed flavor of the crab.
Man.
It's a sweet, I mean, it's just out of this world. See, I could eat 3 or 4 of these, no problem.
Yeah. And
give the meat away.
Oh, that's terrific.
Now, you've got to remember, we're at home, and I've got to be neat. Otherwise, my wife will kill me. So, usually I can work a lot faster if I'm not being neat. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to break it off this way. There's several ways. I'll show you this way here. We do it that. Okay. Now, you probably think it's real easy to crack a crab. Well, you got to be careful, because if you crack it too much, all the shell's going to go into the meat, right? So what you want to do is, you see how that cracks? It just barely cracks, so that now, when I get to this meat, you see that? Isn't that lovely? Here, Mike. Now that's delicious.
So what you did is you just took the hammer and on the sharp edge, just enough to just
to crack it just gently. You don't want to crack it too much, otherwise you're going to make a mess out of the crab. See, when you come to the body, in between the knuckles or in between the legs, you put the knife and you go real simple, right? Now, this way you can get to this meat real easy, folks. And this way, when we marinate this, you see, isn't that nice?
I got the best job here. I just get to taste all of this. This is edible right now, right?
Absolutely. Okay.
Oh, too bad Sal isn't here. He'd love this, you know. Sal would love. He's a real crab fanatic.
Well, all Italians are.
All right, John, now we got the crab cracked. What kind of a sauce are you going to make?
Okay, Mike, we can do several different varieties of sauces. The one I'm going to do today is a old-fashioned household Sicilian style with the way we do it. Fairly simple. Of course, it has garlic. It's going to have Italian flat leaf parsley, folks, not the curly leaf. And we're going to put a little mustard. I haven't got any Italian mustard, but I'm going to use French poupon. We're going to use lemon, and some vinegar, salt and pepper, and a little hot pepper.
All right. Now this is, what do you call this? This would be Sicilian?
Sicilian marinated crab salad.
I like it.
That's what we call it.
I like it.
Now, we're going to crush some garlic. Go real fast.
Now that's the best way to do it instead of, I mean, some people use a garlic press. Is this easier to do when you want to chop it instead of press it, or what?
Okay, garlic press is going to give you garlic flavor throughout the dish. I cook my garlic, or I cut my garlic on the coarse side, so that I like to taste pieces of garlic, small pieces of it, while I'm eating my dish. And not, some people will crush this and it becomes part of the sauce. I don't care for, I don't like it that way.
All right. While you're doing this, John, how important is it to have good utensils?
Well, I tell you, most people that cut their fingers, they don't cut them with sharp knives, they cut them with dull knives, because they're pressing and they're fighting it. And, you know, most houses you go in, they have one knife that they use for everything. And what happens when you do that is you end up using the tips for opening cans, and you end up chopping bones, and you end up really having a big mess.
Okay, so what you're saying is you should get knives for each function and get good knives.
You should have good knives, good quality knives. Keep them sharp. Take them to a professional to sharpen them, or always have a steel at home. I use this just to always keep an edge on it. This way you can work real fast, and it is less dangerous, actually.
Well, I think I'd rather get cut with a sharp knife than a dull knife, right? You don't know about it as fast.
It leaves the jagged edges, I'll tell you that. Okay, this is the parsley. We'll just chop that up real quick. See the smell that comes. You smell that? That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
parsley. I mean, the other parsley is just for decoration. This flat leaf now, and you can find it almost anywhere. It's available, and
well, you can really have the. Now the odor is really coming up. That's delicious.
I always keep some right over by the sink. People think it's decoration, but hey, we eat it. I'm gonna put a little lemon. Lemon and seafood, of course, is the natural. Give it one good lemon.
Okay, now you're squeezing that through your hands so that you can catch the seeds.
Here's the pith. Now you could put a strainer on this. You could put gauze on it. You could.
This is the easy way to do it.
That's the easy way. And we're gonna give it a little vinegar. And I'm using a wine vinegar, red wine. You could use white, I guess, but I like the flavor of the red. You can use a flavored vinegar, tarragon vinegar is fine. It's whatever you like. Recipe. Now we're going to put the mustard in. Maybe one and a half or so.
Yeah, in other words, you don't have to be exact. In other words, you just kind of...
Absolutely. Hey, I like mustard. I put a little extra.
Yeah, it's like Grandma did a pinch of this, a pinch of that.
Absolutely. Give it a little pepper. I got ground pepper. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. A little salt. Okay, you want to whip that? I'm going to find something else here. I got to find some hot
folks,
pepper.
I am a kitchen klutz. All you got to do is ask my wife. She'll tell you I can make peanut butter sandwiches. That's about it.
We'll put a little crushed red pepper, Mike.
Oh. I'm not even sloshing over the edge.
Oh, you're doing a hell of a job.
All right. Oh, this is starting to smell good.
Okay, now we'll put, as you're whipping that, we're going to put a little oil now.
Okay, olive oil. What do you recommend? Just a good olive oil?
There are so many olive oils on the market. You know, there's California, there's Spanish, there's Greek. I don't know. Just try them all. Take the one you like. I like to use a light one for cooking and the heavier extra virgins for salads and when you really want a pronounced olive oil flavor.
Oh, man, that's starting to smell good.
Okay.
Boy, I wish Sal was here. You know, it's too bad he's not here.
Maybe we should give him a call. Then again, maybe not.
So in other words, what you're doing here is basically you're preparing this sauce to your taste, what you kind of like.
Absolutely.
Some people might like more olive oil and less vinegar, just depends.
Exactly. So however you like it.
So in other words, have fun in the kitchen.
Okay, exactly. Now we're going to add the secret ingredient.
Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, this is the butter out of the... oh, okay.
So what we'll do is we're going to chop it up a little bit. The one that is soft, I'm just going to...
So it's back in the corner in there. That's all right.
This is just like a custard, folks. Doesn't that look like a custard to you?
Yeah,
and believe me, it just is absolutely fabulous.
Basically, it's the fat?
It's called the fat, yes, exactly.
All right.
Or crab butter is how
crab butter.
How they
Sounds
call it.
better.
Look at that, isn't it? Look at this, folks.
Man.
Oh, man. Only with fresh crabs, too. Okay, now we're going to do this. We're going to put the two together. And we're going to ladle this on. Now, this should rest maybe, an hour. Well, actually, it should rest as long as you can wait, you know.
In other words, the longer the sauce is on the crab, the more it permeates.
The more flavor,
sure. It marinates, in other words.
If you're real hungry, though, this won't, you know. This has got to go on the table now, you know. Now, everybody should have bibs with this, and you sit down with this. Maybe you can make a little garlic bread, and maybe some nice white, maybe put a white wine on the table, a red wine on the table, and you sit down, you have a nice little, this first course is fantastic.
What wine would you recommend with this?
I think any white wine or even a light red would be okay.
Okay.
You know, like a Beaujolais or some of the, like the Beaujolais Nouveau would be good. Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, no problem.
All right.
Very, very good.
So, folks, this is gorgeous. Sicilian-style cracked crab. Mmm.